Guy threatened to call the police on me and stalked me because I didn't want to sleep with him. About 6 months ago, I was at a dentist's office and started chatting with a guy in the waiting room. He seemed really nice and was super cute, so we kept talking for a while afterward. We exchanged numbers and agreed to make plans later. Red flag number 1. He sent me 30 pictures of himself immediately after we left. I thought, that's odd. Flash forward, and we made plans to have dinner a few days later. He picked me up from my house. Not the best idea. Dinner and conversation were good, but he told me a strange story. Red flag number 2. He said that last year he got into a shootout with his ex-girlfriend's brother. I asked why they started shooting, and he said he had no idea. I asked a few more questions, and he swore that he just went to drop off some of her things after they broke up, and her brother started shooting at him, so he returned fire. After that weird story, he told me he had 2 tickets to see a soul singer we both liked the following night. I agreed to go. He took me back home, and I gave him a quick kiss. I pulled away, but he tried to kiss me again, so